Good morning. This is Michael Mitchell with Madison County Weather Updates and Crystal Clear Weather. Um, Last kind of pre-storm update as we just wait to see what this thing's going to do. And we can see the initial wave. This is actually has been in two separate low pressures. One that's kind of off to the north that has already brought some heavy snow up into the Chicago area and northern parts of Illinois. And then the second one is coming through, and we're kind of in the dry slot of that right now. We had some rain and some snow mixing in with the rain, even at 36, 37, and 38 degrees. We still had some snow mixing in with the rainfall earlier. Now our main storm system is getting its act together and moving up from the southwest. And we can see there are two low pressures that are down here. One is sitting in northeastern Arkansas, and then the other one is sitting back between Springfield and Jefferson City in Missouri. And you can see there's already some snow blowing up right along that cold front there in Missouri. As that begins to wrap cold air into it, that's something that I kind of thought we were going to have to watch out for. So as these two lows get closer together, they'll intensify. And so the big question is, will these low pressures wrap the cold air into it, create more of a cold core, and give us a decent amount of snow? Or is the warm air going to kind of be the king and we just get a bunch of rain and then the cold air rushing in behind? Right now, the timing of it looks like the cold air is catching up to the main storm system. So we'll just have to wait and see how that all plays out as this all moves to the from the southwest to the northeast. So again, expect we'll have rainfall, and then as we get a late afternoon, early evening, that's when we'll find out if we're going to get the thump of heavy snow or not. We'll take a look at the models now and see what they have. So first, I'm going to take a look at two radar snapshots, forecast radar snapshots. This one is from the HRRR, and what the HRRR has is a 981 low, pretty much moving right over our heads, right around 6 p.m. or so. And you can see it's got rainfall completely around the low pressure, all of the snow up to the north. There's no acknowledgement of any cold air coming in from the west whatsoever. And so the HRRR, I'll show you snowfall maps here shortly. HRRR gives us very little in the way of snowfall, just a little bit on the back side. But that's what the HRRR has. Then we move on, and here's a look at the NAM. Now, the NAM's more aggressive here, and it with the heavy thump of snow around 4 or 5 p.m., it's got a 984 millibar low sitting back over Illinois. It also still wraps rain right around that low pressure. And so what it does is it brings us this thump of snow, and then it brings rainfall back in over the snow. Then the cold air rushes in and we get some backside snow. So hopefully that's not what happens, because we'll end up with an absolute mess if that's what does happen. But that's what the NAM has. Again, I tend to think that this is going to be more successful at wrapping cold air into the core of it, but we just have to wait and see, because the models may be seeing something that I can't see on satellite. So getting into the snowfall outputs for the models, and I don't really like doing this, but people seem to like it. So here's a look at the HRRR. HRRR gives Madison County a half inch to maybe an inch up north, and it keeps all of the heavier snowfall well north of Kokomo and Marion and Lafayette, all the way up by Fort Wayne. I don't agree with this, but I do want to show you that is a possible outcome that the HRRR model has. Here we're looking at the NAM. The NAM is more aggressive. The NAM brings in some 4 to 5, maybe 6 inch snowfall across Madison County. It sees the thump of snow being more widespread, being heavier, and again, it has the thump of snow ahead of the low pressure. Then it brings in some more light accumulating snow overnight as the cold air rushes in. So this is another possible solution. And it's probably one that I agree with far more than I would agree with the HRRR. But we know what these storms have been doing, what happened back in December, what happened with the storm a few days ago, what's been happening the last few years. So we do have to keep the HRRR model in mind, as this could fail with the snow. So here we're taking a look at the, we're taking a look at the European. And the European did have everything well north, and it has come back some, and it gives us again with maybe 2 to 4 inches of snowfall. And here we're taking a look at the GFS. GFS kind of paints us a lot more on the edge. It has a heavier thump of snowfall to our west and northwest, so it would give Hamilton County 5 or 6 inches of snow. It would give Indianapolis and Anderson a half an inch to maybe an inch and a half of snow. Again, there's no way a model knows exactly how it's going to play out, but I'm just showing you what its result was. And then here we're taking a look at the German icon, and it's in the probably 1 to 3 inch range for Madison County. That's kind of what I told you yesterday to expect. And then we've got the high resolution Canadian. The Canadian had been pretty bullish on the snowfall, and it suddenly has gone the route of kind of like the HRRR, where it really is not giving us a whole lot of snow. This would mostly be on the backside, and if we are going to get a light snow, I really think it'll be the case of where we don't get any snow on the front side of this afternoon, and all our snow would fall overnight into tomorrow. I think that's probably the scenario where we only get a half an inch or an inch or so. And of course, the main story, and I've emphasized this for days, and it continues to be, no matter what kind of snow we get, even if we don't get any snow, the winds are going to be a big problem, especially as the ground gets saturated. We had rainfall a couple of days, about an inch or so a couple of days ago. We're probably going to end up with an inch or so of liquid again today. So you throw that in, any trees that have weak root systems or poles that are buried in weak ground, you saturate that ground and then have strong winds, and it's going to make it a lot more likely that we have some downed poles and downed power lines. If we get some heavy wet snow that ends up freezing on those lines, that makes it even more likely that this would happen. So the winds are the biggest problem we have, no matter how much snowfall we get. So we're just in the wait and see, or some people call it the nowcast, where you're not even forecasting, you're just saying, here's what it's doing now, and that's all you can really do with the type of setup that we're getting stuck with. I did not think we were going to have a mess out of this system, but we have a mess out of this system. It's just the cards were being dealt over and over again. Last thing that we look at, last thing I'm going to look at here is this swath of snow down here to the south. This is the late Sunday through early Tuesday system. Every piece of data has this suppressed way to the south as the cold air rushes in. So potentially what happens is we can see this empty spot right here in the middle, and Madison County might end up in it. We might end up with some accumulating snow. We're right on the fringe as per usual. So we'll just have to wait and see what happens with this. But it looks like the system early this next week is going to miss us well to the south. So we might end up in the split again. And if you recall, back at the end of December, I told you that if we couldn't get production out of this stretch that we're in, that we might be at risk of having one of our least snowy winters on record. Our worst, of course, is 1972-73. We only had 5 inches of snow. I think we'll surpass that because we'll get another shot of winter probably in early February, but our if we can't get production out of this setup, and it's looking really sketchy that we will, then winter is probably going to be a snowfall fail. So we'll just, as things develop this afternoon, if anything really hazardous develops, I will come on and let you know. Otherwise, this is Micah Mitchell with Madison County Weather Updates and Crystal Clear Weather. Have a great day and a safe weekend.